Imagine possessing a force so extraordinary it could transform your existence. A covert hierarchy of power that allows you to determine how well off you will be, how much you'll accomplish, how happy you'll become. This is not a force gifted by an outside source, but an internal force. Your subconscious mind. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy explores this invisible occurrence and how to embrace it. Throughout the ages, some of the most successful people, artists, inventors, entrepreneurs, philanthropists, and religious leaders, knew this universality. They recognized that achievement stems from more than talent, genius, education, opportunity, or even chance. Achievement stems from the awareness of how one can control their mind, subconscious and conscious conditions. Ancient traditions provide evidence to suggest that mind control can equate to circumstance control. The Vedic tradition and Hermetic texts from Egypt have long emphasized the power of the mind in shaping reality. For example, the Upanishads opine, "You are what your deep, driving desire is. As your desire is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. As your deed is, so is your destiny." This timeless teaching parallels Murphy's thoughts relative to a subconscious, creating one's reality, and operating on an unseen level despite existence in a tangible one. The conscious mind, the rational mind, considers and thinks logically, analyzes, comes to conclusions, makes decisions, and rational thoughts. This is the part of your mind that you are aware of and operating in real time. But beneath that awareness, there is the subconscious mind. Vast and tremendous and seldom used power. While the conscious mind learns and acknowledges causation in a linear, analytical fashion, the subconscious welcomes wholes, nonlinear causation, and absorbs everything in its periphery of awareness. Often attributed to Buddha is the notion that all that we are is the result of what we have thought. The ancient Greeks, including Plato and Socrates, took note of the association of an inner powerful awareness as well. Murphy's key concept connects to the concept of autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is a psychological phenomenon where a thought or a mental image is suggested to oneself. Murphy illuminates that the subconscious takes in what it hears, conditioned over time. In other words, if you say something to yourself over and over again, it will manifest as your reality over time. This is not just a Western concept. The Taoist way understands that one's thought patterns need to be regulated and conditioned for complete integration of mind and body. For example, if someone believes they will never achieve their goal and that thought is left unquestioned, an imbalance of mind and action will ensue. Thus, the control of repeated productive mental imagery can serve as affirmations for the unconscious. This strips away any mental obstacles the person has put in his or her path and allows for limitless empowerment. Murphy reveals that the best way to eliminate whatever is conditioned in the unconscious mind is through guided imagery and self-suggestion. Imagination is how one programs the subconscious. Murphy professes that the subconscious does not know the difference between what is and what is vividly imagined. The ancient Egyptian mystery schools taught the ability to visualize as one of the few powers that could manifest change in reality. Likewise, the Hinduistic notion of Maya posits that the world is merely the projection of what the mind holds dearest. Limited studies even brought sports psychologists to the table and found that athletes who visualize what they have to do get nearly the same ability improvement as those who practice. If a basketball player sees the ball going through the hoop during a free throw, he or she employs the same neural connections as if he threw 100 free throws in actual time. The same goes for professional projections and anticipations. If one can envision all aspects of a perfect outcome, one is more likely to make it happen. Humans unknowingly sabotage their own efforts. They've been conditioned for so long, and it's not their fault. Since childhood, culture, family ideations, and ancestral memory insinuate thoughts into the mind, sometimes even quasi-anti-developmentally. For example, if someone hears they're not good enough times, this assessment may be true to their personal reality in adulthood. However, their ego is inappropriately engaged, subconsciously still holding on to this guidance learned in youth. Yet, according to Murphy, this is a phenomenon that can be changed but needs to be addressed deliberately at some point in life. One form of using the mind to erase emotional trauma and change one's reality is through Vedic practices with mantra meditation, the chanting of sounds. Whether Om Mani Padme Hum or Soham, repetition confirms the intention of reprogramming the subconscious mind, deprogramming bad imprints and creating a sense of emotional center. These mantras are believed to carry vibrational frequencies that align the mind with higher states of consciousness, promoting emotional balance, mental clarity, and even physical healing. This has been proven to some extent today with modern neuroscience supporting this concept, showing that repetitive affirmations and sound frequencies can alter brainwave activity, reducing stress and reinforcing positive mental states. The most intriguing element of Murphy's offering is the connection between the subconscious and medical healing. He documents people who heal themselves of ailments purely from belief. It's directly tied to the placebo effect, a well-documented medical phenomenon where patients experience real physical improvements simply because they believe they are receiving treatment. This also links to Ayurveda and Chinese medicine, relying on the acknowledgement of the mind-body-spirit connection. For instance, Hippocrates, the father of medicine, said, "The natural healing force within each of us is the greatest force in getting well." Murphy argues that the subconscious mind has an intrinsic intelligence capable of restoring health when given the right suggestions. But how to harness such power? Where does this force come from? Murphy offers easy techniques of affirmations, visualizations, gratitude, meditations, and emotional control. Yet none of these are new as they come from ancient spiritual philosophical texts. For example, the Bhagavad Gita teaches that in order to control one's mind, one must realize abhyasa, the way of consistent spiritual discipline, and vairagya, detachment from all negativity. Similarly, the Stoic philosophers of Rome, such as Marcus Aurelius, realize the same need to harness one's focus when he says, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." By applying these principles consistently, individuals can reshape their destiny and create a life of abundance, health, and happiness. But for this to be true, these activities and exercises must be consistent and believed. If you water a plant one day and forget it for the next week, the plant dies. The same goes for the subconscious, needing the same attention as a flower in the county fair. This is why daily routines that involve affirmations, mindfulness, and reflection are essential for deep-rooted transformation. The more each action gets absorbed, the more is projected outward, the more it works in your favor. Get your thoughts in order, for you'll be engulfed by them like crashing waves against a shoreline. Your subconscious may be but a small drop in the ocean, but your thoughts afloat that ocean, and they can be life-giving vibrations or the end of you. It's up to you, the choice of which waves to embrace. Even, what if I told you? And imagine for a moment that create a breath of expectation before the life-changing reveal. A pause, a breath, a second of silence. This is where life-changing awareness begins. It's time for your inspired action. Don't let this be another idea lost in the void. Start tonight. Before you close your eyes and drift off, tell your subconscious what you desire. Say it, believe it, feel it. Your transformation is not a distant possibility. It begins now, in this very moment.